I'm one of the NICs, and we're going to be joined with Jeff, who's also an awesome NIC. He's kind of with us.
Hello,
And
everyone.
you guys should have access to the Data Nation Builder and Website Orientation document, and we're going to be sharing it. We're going to be taking notes right in there as well. And there will be places throughout the session this evening where you guys can go in and ask questions, and we'll be taking a couple breaks to get those questions answered. So a couple housekeeping items. Feel free to sign in. And I have already signed in, and you can also upload a photo of yourself if you like, just so we like to see who we're talking to. So by the end of this call, we hope that you will know why NationBuilder is awesome overall, and we're going to go over a couple things that it can do. We also want you to feel energized and creative about this, creating your nation and creating your chapter and your website. And we're going to be working on, or we're going to be helping you creating a grabber homepage for your nation and your website. We want you to feel empowered to explore the back end too, and feel comfortable creating pages and to think about what kind of content you're going to want on your website and data and things like that. We're going to have, we're going to go over how NationBuilder runs the back end and the feel for how it collects data and how it organizes data. And there's a specific hierarchy of data and how it's organized. So we're going to go over that too. And we want you to feel more comfortable with the dashboard, how to clean up your data, and that will sort of be discussed later on in another training, but we're going to jump into it a little bit here, and we're going to take a quick look at the very end at our data policy. So that's just a couple housekeeping items, and everything's being recorded, and you can watch it later, and we're going to be inputting some links in the discussion document as well. So, okay, I'm done. Jeff, you want to go ahead?
All right, absolutely. So, evening, everyone. My name is Jeff. I'm with YNPN New Jersey. I'm one of the Nation Builder integration coordinators. So we just wanted to give you a bit of an overview of some of the features of Nation Builder and reasons for selecting it. So on the one hand, it's pretty easy to use in terms of if you have experience designing websites in WordPress, other types of systems, updating content for your website, images, is pretty easy, straightforward. It's kind of a short learning curve in being able to get your website up and going. But also on the back end, there's a lot of great features that allow you to customize your website. We're going to talk a little bit about the data collection features for NationBuilder, which are really great and which are going to allow National to do some great things in terms of collecting data from across the networks. But even for your chapter, there's a lot of useful customization that you can use through NationBuilder. My chapter actually had a retreat the other day, and we were really excited to go through NationBuilder training and start thinking about how we can use a lot of those features to get information on our members and do a lot of data tracking ourselves to make sure that we're doing the best job we can for our members. So I want to go ahead and cover a little bit of information about what NationBuilder can do on the front end and some planning that you might want to think about as you start up your website. So I'm going to shift for a minute and share my screen so you can see some examples of websites from chapters that are currently using NationBuilder and some things that you might want to start thinking about in terms of planning out your own website layout. So I'm going to shift to sharing my entire screen. So hopefully everyone can see what I'm looking at. So I'm going to shift over and check out the YNPN New Jersey homepage. So we picked a certain template, but I just want to point out a couple features that a lot of the themes in NationBuilder have that are really great in terms of thinking about the first thing that you want your members to see when they come onto your website. So as you can see in the middle of the screen, we have a slider with some images and some themes. If you are interested in using that to link to certain parts of your page or promote events. I'm just going to click on one really quickly. Build your network kind of links folks to our upcoming events page. In the past, we've used it to post slider images for board recruitment, other things. So you can really drive your web traffic for your members to different things that you want them to take advantage of in the moment. At the top, you'll also see kind of the sections that we've listed for our menu. Again, that might vary depending on your chapter. You can see for us right now, we just have a link to our homepage, a section with outlines of board bios for new members and members who want to know more about our board, membership, and then upcoming events. I'm going to shift over to YNPN DC's page. You can see for them, they have kind of the same setup in terms of their menu. They have some drop-down options and some additional things that they wanted to focus on. But as you get ready to start thinking about what you want to feature on your page, just think about what you want in your menus and some of the things that you can put in kind of large slider images on your front homepage. That's something that you can do before you even start to get content done, just in terms of an outline or a document that you can use to kind of get your content up and running really quickly. So one other thing that I want to point out as well, for us in New Jersey, we actually have a lot of followers on our Facebook page, and NationBuilder integrates really well with social media. So we have an upcoming mixer this Wednesday that I'm going to open up the page for. And so we have the RSVP page on our website, but I'm going to click over. We also have an event page that we've created on our Facebook page that links to NationBuilder. So we have some members who are more comfortable with our website. They'll go there and RSVP, but it's very easy to set up a link to Twitter, to Facebook, to other social media accounts that you may have a large following on to get that information up to your members pretty easily. So at this point, I'm going to shift things back over to Jess so she can talk a little bit about some of the features on the back end. Let me just remove my screen sharing. All right.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. It took me a minute. So I'm going to share my whole screen with you, and so I'm going to jump a little bit to how to make some of the items that we're going to be talking about later, and how some of the data is organized on NationBuilder, so where some of these things live. So I'm going to be using YNPN Southern Nevada as an example. This is our site. So we've been working on it for quite some time, and like Jeff mentioned, it's always fun and easy to play around with the information, update pictures. Those content sliders are extremely useful. We actually use those as well. And so, you know, play around, dive in head first, but when you learn where all these things live and where to find them, it's going to be very easy to play around a little bit. So I'm going to show you the dashboard, which is the back end. So after you sign in to your account through your website and through NationBuilder, this is the screen that you see. I'm going to make sure that everything is working. Okay, yep. Okay, so this is the screen that you should see. Your dashboard is the first thing that comes up, and you have this top header bar up here, which I'm going to go over in a couple of seconds, couple minutes, and then this bar down here is your lower bar. So the first thing that pops up is your activity, and this is sort of a very similar to a Facebook live feed of what's going on. So you can see that we have supporters joining and then leaving, and I know this person updated her her profile, so she switched all of her email addresses. So you can see everything that's going on. We have some PayPal donations. We have this is from an event that we have coming up, This is from one of the events that we have coming up. So this is just a live feed of what's going on. This is how many people need follow-up, so maybe RSVP'd or became a member. This is how many current supporters that we have. A supporter, just in NationBuilder terms, is a free account. So people can, you know, create a free account just so they can like search around the website. That's very different from becoming a member, which is a paid member, if your chapter has a paid membership system. We have this many volunteers. Customers is something new, which I'll go over in a little bit. And donations, recruiters, this is all of our current board members. So this lower bar is sort of a quick snapshot of your nation or your chapter and how it's doing. So other than activity, we have follow-up, and this is a quick glance of how many people need follow-up for whatever reason. So we have all these new members, and I kept these on here for a reason, just to kind of show you what it looks like. And growth is something that I frequently glance at just to see where our nation stands, and usually it lands on monthly. So I'm going to look at a monthly growth, and NationBuilder does this automatically. It breaks down where people are coming from and where they're clicking on your website. So we have this many new supporters, which are those free accounts. New volunteers, not that many. New donors, fundraisers, new members, customers is new, like I said before, and new recruiters, and this is just our board members. So you can see how way back here, this is when we started our first membership drive, and it sort of tapered off because we've been focusing on programming since. But this is a great way to sort of track the general growth of your nation and your chapter, and it's a good idea to kind of glance at it every once in a while, just to keep in perspective what you guys can focus on. So finances, I'm not going to show you now, but it's something that your finance person or your, you know, whoever on your board is in charge of the finances and bank accounts and things will be able to look at. We're actually changing banks right now, so this finance for us, or this section for us, is blank because we're updating everything. So I'm going to move on. In contacts, under monthly, again, it's just a quick snapshot. You can see that we have a lot of growth. We have a lot of events coming up. And this, again, breaks down everything, where things are coming from, where people are coming from. And just, you know, just a quick snapshot. Your calendar is a great way to just look at what is coming up soon. So we actually have an event coming up on the 20th, which I'll be attending. You can also look at past events. We have quite a bit. And you can get to the event directly from here, or you can go through your website itself. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can also create a new event, which we're going to go over at a later time. And then what is really cool is NationBuilder creates an annual report automatically that you can download, and it shows all the snapshots that we looked at from this lower bar, just in a text format. So if you were applying for grants, if you had supporters that wanted to look at the information, NationBuilder does it automatically. You can download it, give it to them. You can rearrange the data however you like. Okay, so that's that lower bar. So we looked at that, and then the above the dashboard bar, this upper bar, this is where I'm at a lot as well. Other than your dashboard, which is, again, your live feed, you have people, which this is a searchable function. So you can look at everybody. You can look at people assigned to some of your board members in something what we call point person. So if someone on the board wants to have a direct communication line between a few members, or someone, or some people are volunteering for a specific topic or a specific event coming up, you can connect those people with one person on your board automatically, and those are called point people. It sort of creates a healthy communication in connecting your board members with the community and with your members who are paid, if you have a paid membership structure. It's a really great way to open up those communications. And you can search tags and lists. You can also import and export. All the tags and lists we'll go over later, but basically, it's tags and lists are a way to organize all your people into searchables. You can also create lists of people that you can email directly. So it's all different kinds of ways to organize the people within your chapter. And again, we're going to go over that a little later. So your website, hopefully you guys will just have one website. This is the back end, so feel free to, when we get into this, feel free to look into your dashboard and your website a little bit just to see what kind of pages you can create. I highly recommend having a home page, a get involved page, a calendar page, and a blog page just to get started. And that's this top 4. And all this is changeable within themes. You can switch around pages without changing the content, which is great. So you want to think about how people are moving through your website, so the flow of traffic. And you can edit these anytime you like just by clicking on them. There's a dashboard here too, so you can link it to a Facebook or Twitter account or page. You can post something like, hey, come out to our, oh my gosh, I can't type, our upcoming event, and then it'll link that page to Facebook in a post. You can also find settings anytime. You can change the name of the page, where it's located, the published status. So if it's unlisted, it's not published. People can't see it, but you can still play around with it until you're ready to publish it. So there's all these different settings you can mess around with, and Jeff and I will be around and able to help you with these settings, but my suggestion is just to dive in head first and play around. And your content is where you can actually plug in directly the content and how you want it to look. You can input pictures, you can have text, you can have links, however you like. It's totally up to you. So next on this upper bar up here is communication. So NationBuilder has what they call a broadcaster, and it's usually one person or one account. For us, we used YNP in Southern Nevada as one account that can send out emails, Facebook blasts, Twitter tweets, and this can be changed at any time. This is the account, this is the dashboard, so all the activity that you see, that's usually the first thing that pops up. You can send out an email. And here are all the emails that were going out. We've created a test page. We've created a newsletter. We have a monthly newsletter that goes out every month. And these are always logged, and it has how many people it was sent to, the number of people who opened it, clicked it, the number of donations you got from it. So all these statistics are automatically generated from NationBuilder. You can also schedule one to go out. You can go to your Facebook and tweet something to go out. So there's another way. This is just another way to get people involved. And of course your settings. And you can update this at any time. You can merge accounts. You can email someone, update phone numbers, things like that. So here's where we're going to go over quick finances. Again, our chapter is sort of updating all of our bank information. So some of it may be a little out of date, but it has general activity of where money is coming from and why, which is wonderful because you can track that. So this is a code that we've used for a certain month of the year. You see for this is from the event that's coming up on 4-20 on the 20th of this month. These donations came from membership. These were just general donations, which is wonderful, and then again more members. So it automatically tracks certain kinds of donations that are coming in, certain money that's coming in. Settings is a very general place to find everything. This is where you may not spend too much time, but Jeff and I are going to be helping you along the way. But I do want to bring up that this is where you set up your bank accounts and your domain. And this is one of the first steps you have, is you have to purchase your domain for your chapter and assign it here. Jeff and I will be able to help you with that, but this is where all this information lives. And last but not least, you can go to your live site, which takes you directly to your main homepage. This is what our page looks like. This is me. If you're signed in through your website, you can go to any page, and this sidebar will always be here, and you can edit this page directly from your website. which is amazing. A lot of other platforms don't really have this, so it's wonderful. So in terms of where everything lives, that's a general basis of where things are, so you can sort of dive in, look around. Don't be afraid to mess anything up. You can always undo it. Feel free to make a page, create some accounts for yourself and your board. That's one of the first steps. And of course, in the document that we're going to be sharing, we're going to be dropping in some general articles and some basic how-tos of how to create a basic page. And again, I really recommend creating a calendar, donation page, a blog, sign up homepage. You know, that's really important. And then there's also a short little video, short little demo of how to upload an image, which can be confusing, but we've already done everything for you, so you can sort of see how to do that. And we're also going to be sharing a document called NationBuilder Terms and Glossary, and I'll go ahead and drop that in the shared document in just a second here. But it's a really useful, it's a very useful document. Let me see if I can bring it up just so I can show you what it looks like. This is a document that created long ago, and it has sort of the language that NationBuilder uses, so you kind of know the lingo a little bit. And it has how to search for someone, a new person, what all these things mean. There's also some how-to videos and some how-to articles, some definitions. There's some featured content slider information, which is what Jeff was talking about keeping your homepage up to date to filter traffic through. So this is an extremely useful document that we created long ago. Feel free to use it. We're going to be dropping that document into the main document that we're sharing this evening. And again, you know, Jeff and I are here. This is a fun and exciting process, and we know it. We've done it. So when you have your nation and your chapter all set up, we're going to be helping you with the next steps. So it is a step-by-step process, and feel free to jump in, look around, find where things live. Once you know where those things live, it's much easier to play around. And if you ever need help, then we're going to be around to assist. All right, so that's all I got. So I'm going to switch back. I'm going to close this. Let me see if I can. Okay.
All right, so just to cover 2 points for you guys before we open it up for some questions. So Jess mentioned setting up your domain and also working on your payment information, getting it entered into NationBuilder. So I'm going to do a quick screen share. To cover those 2 things. All right. So if you are in the dashboard on your admin account, you'll see there's 2 options listed there for your domain and your bank account. These are kind of steps that you can take pretty early on and get them out of the way, get them set up so that once you start putting your content in and planning out your website, you can get payment for memberships, accept donations, and it's pretty easy to take care of. So for establishing your own custom domain, you can use any number of providers. I know for my chapter, we went ahead and used Namecheap. So they're located at www.namecheap.com. That was what was suggested by YNPN National, and it worked out really well for us. It took maybe 15 minutes or so to make sure our domain was available. We picked kind of the same name for our domain that we had for our original NationBuilder site. So we were set up at YNPN of nj.nationbuilder.com. We picked the custom domain ynpnofnj.org. And so that's the website that we give out, and it just redirects all of our members, visitors to our NationBuilder website. It's pretty affordable at $15 a year. And so once you have that domain set up, you can add it in and have NationBuilder connect with that domain so that people will get redirected to your site. NationBuilder handles a lot of the behind the scenes in terms of updating your settings, so we didn't really have to do that much other than kind of plug in our domain information on this page right here in our dashboard, maybe update a few things on our end, and then everyone was being redirected to our website from our custom domain. So that's something you can take care of pretty early on, and it's good to get it out of the way. The one other really important piece that you'll want to think about and take care of is linking any payment system information that you have to NationBuilder. So if you are in that dashboard again and you click on under the settings menu, bank accounts, you can see here we have the YNPN New Jersey bank account set up. We were using PayPal before we transitioned over to NationBuilder. So really all we had to do was select new account. NationBuilder will list, as you can see, kind of a full range of payment processors that you can use. You may be using one of these already. If not, it's pretty easy to get set up with a PayPal or Stripe account or any of these. And once you do that, really all it asks you for is some login information and information to connect NationBuilder to that. Once you have it set up, it runs pretty smoothly. I think since we've had our payment processing set up, people have been able to come to our website and sign up for memberships, make donations, and also use the ticket purchasing feature through NationBuilder. So again, one of those things that's good to get out of the way and get set up before you develop a lot of the content. That way, once your website's up and running, everything can be kind of functional, and folks can go ahead and purchase memberships or pay for events or anything else that you want to set up on the website. So one additional quick word about some third-party apps. So I know my chapter and some other chapters may use different services like MailChimp or Constant Contact. There are some ways to integrate that with NationBuilder. It usually does take a little bit more work. NationBuilder actually has a very good support team. So if you are interested in, keeping service that you have already and getting it to work with NationBuilder, that's an option. But NationBuilder has a lot of those functions built in. So I know my chapter has started to shift over and importing all of our contacts from MailChimp into NationBuilder, just because we thought it would be easier to have all of our data in one place, and that's one of the, I think, advantages of NationBuilder. So if you really do like a service and you want to get it to work with NationBuilder, you can go that route. But chances are, if you're using another service to do something, you can probably figure out a way to get NationBuilder to take over a lot of those functions. And we found that it's just easier to be able to log into NationBuilder and take care of everything than log into 3 or 4 different other services for ticket information or for mailing lists. So that's something to think about and maybe chat about with your board, your NationBuilder team, as you think about starting the process. So at this point, we're going to take a quick pause and open it up for questions. I'm not sure if anyone has audio yet, but you can definitely ask questions. Or I think if you have any questions, you can post them in the shared agenda document now, and we can go ahead and take a pause and answer those.
Anyone have any questions?
I see one in the chat.
Okay.
For reoccurring membership dues, how is this dealt with on the back end?
I can answer that if you like. Okay, so membership dues are handled one of 2 ways: by reoccurring alerts that go out through email, or maybe an annual membership that stops automatically after 1 year. And it depends on what you as a chapter decide to do with that. You can set up either one through NationBuilder on the back end. I can show you where that lives. Let me share my screen. Then I have to get to it, so hold tight. It's basically under settings and under memberships. So what you'll do when you create, and it's a 3-step process, so what you do when you create your memberships from the beginning is you'll go to, my dogs are barking, Bodie! Sorry. So what you'll do is you'll go to settings. It will land on defaults automatically, and then you'll go to membership types, and this is the first step. So you'll create types of memberships. We have YNPN member as the main membership, and then we have all these others just to track where our board members lie. You don't have to do it this way, but it's really up to you. We also have an advocate and an advisory board member, which is a team of CEOs and people of respect around the community, where whenever we need help with something or advice, we have this team of supporters that help us along the way. So that's the very first thing you'll do, membership types. You create them here. The second step is you'll go to your website from up here, website, and then you'll create a donation page. See if I can find it really quick. Even if I can't, that's okay. And in the settings section, you'll attach those settings to that page, if that makes sense. So you'll go and create a page. You'll create a donation page, and then you'll connect those memberships to that page, and then you'll basically design the page through the content section. And this is ours. This is a certain page that we have on our website, and what you guys are seeing here is that whenever we have a new member join within a certain year, basically within 2014, 15, and 16, they also get an AN membership, which is something that we have in Southern Nevada. So they sort of get 2. So this is just a way to explain the membership a little bit further. But when you do that, let me go to the dashboard. When you attach those memberships, they will come up on the website itself. And then as far as the recurrence goes, for annual memberships, you'll do that down here. You'll say 1 members before expiration. And I selected 1 week, allow grace period of 1 month, just in case someone's on vacation or can't get around to it. And then those auto responses are automatically generated through NationBuilder, and you as a chapter will go in and just change the wording of however you like. This is ours, and this email will automatically be sent out to those people, so they'll have this is my email address for my chapter, but you'll also have this link that they can automatically click to renew their membership. I hope that makes sense. But it's fun and easy. It's just a 3-step process, and we'll help you along the way. Any other questions? Alrighty, my turn. Okay, so we're going to talk very quickly about data and data collection and how that works just a little bit. So data and the collection of data for your chapter is extremely important, and NationBuilder really does a great job of collecting data and keeping it in one spot and organizing it. You get to decide how you want to organize it based on what NationBuilder already does with it. With data that you can use and that you know how to search for, if you do it right, you can look at data and improve your programming. You can improve what members expect out of your chapter. You'll gain more members that way as well. You'll create accountability with your board involvement, which is a really wonderful thing. You'll be able to keep in touch with your members. You get to know your members a little bit more. You get to track your nation growth and your chapter growth through what we showed you in the beginning with the monthly growth over time that NationBuilder automatically generates. You get to plan a little bit for the upcoming year, so you can identify where things need improvement or where you might need to focus a little bit more attention. Maybe planning events is your forte and you need to focus a little bit more on getting people to those events. NationBuilder will have all this data in one place. So we already kind of talked about where events live, where the financials live, memberships, volunteers, all of these things all live in one spot. So you won't be using MailChimp for one thing, Constant Contact for another, Google Docs for another. You won't be having to connect all those things separately, which really takes some time and can be tedious. NationBuilder houses all these things in one spot, is easily searchable and easily organizable. So you're going to be saving time, you're going to be more efficient, and essentially you'll be gaining people and supporters through your community. NationBuilder also tracks all communication. You can dedupe, which is finding duplicates, duplicate profiles and merging them. You can create custom searches. You can create lists of people. You can search and report on specific things. You can even export data if you need to partner with another organization or submit data for grant writing or funding or things like that. You can submit reporting automatically. You can just search for it. So for example, I want to give you a quick example. In 2014, YNPN did a huge focus group based on the data that we already currently had, and we talked to CEOs in the community to see what they expected out of the nonprofit community. And then we asked that nonprofit community what they thought CEOs wanted out of a first working relationship. And from this focus group, we almost doubled in our members, and we also created a group of people called the Summit, which essentially became that CEO group in the community that we go to for questions and if we need help and advice. So we directly used our data that we originally had. We got additional data and used that data to gather more resources to increase our cause in the community. So you can do this. You can use it in any way that you like. Chapter collaboration between sister chapters is a really great way to streamline processes to get ideas from other chapters. Maybe a chapter in California is doing something different than a chapter in Nevada, so it's really easy and a great way to communicate with each other. We have a system where we invite people to events and we have +1s, so we're always gaining members, and having that data, we know what members want. We know what members will expect, and we can deliver that to them by asking feedback. We have surveys that go out once a month. So there's other ways that you can collect that data and keep track of it and use it. In terms of what data you might want to start thinking about right now, just the basics are really important. Name, email address, phone numbers, etc. Whatever you may be collecting now, maybe demographics, where they work, things like that. And when someone has a profile within NationBuilder, they can go through and update it themselves. So if they move, or within the nonprofit community, people are moving around and changing and moving up all the time, so they can go through and change that information themselves. Okay, so we're going to move on to cleaning your data house a little bit, and Jeff, go for it.
All right, so this is, I think, the part of the onboarding process that you will definitely want to think through from the beginning and think about really carefully. It is really important to make sure that you import really well organized data into NationBuilder. So one thing that you'll want to keep in mind when you're thinking about how to import your members and maybe even collecting information from your members is to keep kind of national data policy in mind. So there's a document that kind of has an outline of all the information that National would like each chapter to collect for their members. I know thinking of my own chapter, we were collecting some of that information, but not all of it. So when we were going through kind of our Nation Builder onboarding process, we thought about how we could collect some of that additional information from our members. We ended up doing kind of a quick survey through Google Forms to get some additional information to complete out and clean out our data. We were pretty lucky in that we were a relatively new chapter. So we didn't have that much membership data to import. And it was still, I think, some work to go through and get everything organized. The way that you import it into NationBuilder is kind of through spreadsheet that needs to be in the right format. So I'm going to do a quick screen share just to show you kind of that sheet and what that process will look like for you. So this is the type of sheet that we use to kind of organize our member data. And so at the top, you'll kind of have all the pieces of information that you're looking to get from your current members, ideally as much as possible, to be able to import into NationBuilder so that their membership information can be inputted, as well as a lot of the other things about where they work, their employer, what sector they work in, and depending on whether or not you have a current membership uh, plan in place, we had members who had signed up at various dates. And so when we were thinking about importing them in, we also needed to collect that information from our sign up data that they had originally signed on for so that we could make sure they would receive renewal information or notices from NationBuilder kind of at the appropriate time. Our membership was scheduled to be for a year. I think our first renewals are coming up soon, but we needed to get that information in as well. I think there's some cross-checking that you need to do in terms of the way you set your membership types up in NationBuilder. We had 3 types, so they each had a different ID number, so we needed to input that into the chart. I think when you're thinking about who you want to assign to this, you'll definitely want to have a team, especially if you have a lot of data, just because it does end up being some intensive work, really detail oriented to get that data all cleaned and ready to be imported into NationBuilder. I know one thing we did as a chapter, and I think I saw this suggestion from another chapter when we were going through our onboarding, they had like a NationBuilder data party. And so they just got a bunch of people together on a certain day with laptops and kind of all went through that information together. We ended up doing the same thing, and I think it made the process like go a lot quicker and helped us in terms of like checking each other and just making sure all of our data was pretty clean. The one other thing that you'll also want to think about is looking at a lot of the features that are available in NationBuilder, including tags. There are tags that you'll be inputting into your system that'll basically identify who's a paid member in terms of the people who are signed up on your website, what type of membership they have. But there's a lot of ways beyond that that you can use tags in terms of identifying board members, committee members. I know we had some suggestions from our chapter in terms of tagging past professional development speakers. So anything that your chapter needs to track is an opportunity for you to think about how to use some of the custom features in NationBuilder to really organize and be able to filter through your data and find, particular people, particular organizations, or anything that's important to your individual chapter. So I think before you start the process, definitely take a step back, think about some of the neat things that you like to do, and map some of that out before you start putting the data together. I think we thought of a few things partially into the process, and we had to go back and kind of reconsider some of our tags and the way we were organizing things. So the more you can get laid out up front and planned out up front, it'll really just help getting all of your data onto NationBuilder. Once it's on there, have nothing but great things to say. I know my board loves a lot of the reporting features and the ability to go in and look up the information.
I'm unmuted now. Okay, thank you so much, Jeff. Okay, we're going to take another quick pause. If anyone has any questions, feel free to type in the chat or in the document. Okay. If nobody has any questions, we're going to continue on. So, Jamie, if you are available, would you like to talk about the data collection and nationals policy very quick, just a real quick little 2 seconds?
Yeah, I'm happy to. Hey guys, it's Jamie from YNPN National. I've been quietly sitting along, listening to Jess and Jeff, and actually learning quite a bit, even though we've been on NationBuilder for a year, so thank you guys. I have personally gotten a lot out of this training. But what I'm talking about now with kind of the data collection and nationals policy is some of the policies around, for example, if you've been on any major websites, most major websites have them these days, but it's a data policy for how your data will be collected and used. And so I wanted to refer to you guys to some of the materials that are in the data resources that we sent around that talk about the data policies for both for how National uses the data and how we suggest that you guys use the data as well. So there are a couple of different policies that I wanted to call your attention to. One of them is a just general data policy for any user that interacts with YNPN National and with our database. And those data policies would also apply to users who are synced between the local chapter database and National's database when they become members of YNPN National. And those data policies are fairly standard. We do not sell data, we do not rent data, we take all precautions to protect that data. And so these are also the policies that we ask you all to abide by as well as you manage your data for your local chapter. So as I said, that means no selling your data, no renting your data. So let's say a sponsor comes to you and says, well, we'll give you $500 for your event if you'll turn over your email list to us. According to the terms of National's data policy, that would be prohibited. We do not have the ability to technically prevent you guys from making arrangements like that, but we strongly encourage you not to. Some of the other policies that you might want to be aware of and that our materials talk about are the ICANN spam policies. And these were laws that were passed to prevent spam from being sent to folks. So there are certain policies that you need to follow with regard to how you send emails, how you contact people. And these policies are, for the most part, I think in a lot of ways, common sense. If you have used email or received emails from people or have, worked in communications, you're probably familiar with a lot of these things as a matter of course. But really the biggest policy there that you need to be aware of is that it is illegal to subscribe people to your email lists without their permission. Now we know you guys would never pay for email addresses or buy email lists or mine data from anyone, but basically kind of the best practice, both in terms of staying within the laws and in terms of maintaining goodwill with your members, is to make sure that people understand when they're signing up for your email list. So it can be as simple as when you're asking them to fill out a form, letting them know with a brief piece of text that By registering for this event, they're signing up for your email list, or providing them with a checkbox to sign up for your email list if they're signing up for an event. Fortunately, for a lot of the basic forms and for event signups and donations, NationBuilder makes it pretty easy for people to do that kind of opting in. But these are all things that you want to think about as you start to think about collecting data from your members. One of the other policies that I want to call your attention to as well are some of the policies around shared membership and what it looks like for information to be shared between YNPN national and YNPN local databases. So with shared membership, what that means is that when local members become a member of your chapter, they automatically become a member of YNPN national as well. And the way that we do that on the back end is through tags. There is a system within NationBuilder for shared tags, which allows you to tag someone as a member in your nation with a special tag, and that tag allows that data to be synced with YNPN national. So in a future training, we'll talk a little bit more about what shared membership looks like, the technical details behind that. But we know that we've had some questions from folks on past trainings about sort of, well, what does shared membership look like and how does it work? And that's a very high level explanation of how it works. Basically, it works through a tagging system. And we also want to clarify that your data is only shared between your chapter and national. So for example, YNPN Grand Rapids, your member data, for the members that you tag, is only shared with YNPN National. It's not shared with YNPN Cincinnati or YNPN Madison. So we protect your data in that way as well. So as I mentioned, there's some resources on this in the data materials that we've shared with your data point people. We're also happy to answer questions about this on an ongoing basis. And as you guys get further in the data process of importing and a little bit later in the year after folks have signed affiliation agreements, we'll talk more about what it looks like to sync data between nations. I see a question here about, is there a document outlining the data use terms for YNPN National that we can provide members as we're making the transition to the national platform? Yes, so it's actually in the affiliation agreement. So both of the data policies, in addition to being linked in the materials that we've provided you around data onboarding, the data policies are also linked to in the affiliation agreement. And if there are no other questions about the policies, I will turn it back over to Jess and Jeff for the wrap-up.
Thank you, Jamie. That was awesome. Alrighty, guys, we're almost done. Thank you so much for hanging in there. So, real quick wrap-up and going over a quick big picture. This is a lot of information. We are totally aware of that. I apologize that my dogs were barking in the background. But we have shared a lot of really neat and very useful information in the form of documents. We vocalized everything to you. We have this shared document. Please refer back to it. And we're live, so you can always go back and watch this later as well. Please feel free to reach out, ask questions. Jeff and I, we're definitely not professionals, but we are comfortable with NationBuilder. We've been using it for quite some time, and we really love this data stuff. So please reach out. This is a very fun, exhausting, and exciting process. We're going to be here along the way. We're not going anywhere. And I do want to share with you a Gantt chart and timeline that we've sort of developed over time. It is linked into the shared document, and I'm going to share my screen with you so you guys can see what it looks like right quick. Alrighty, so this is a Gantt chart. It's a combination of documents and sections, activities that you guys will be participating in as a team, you and your entire chapter, and a timeline of the onboarding process. So right now, we're in this section up here, this red, orange, yellow section. There are documents up here that you guys have access to now. Please read them. They have a lot of really neat and very useful information. There's videos, there's how-tos. This, the Master Resource Guide is extremely helpful. The NationBuilder Terms and Glossary, the item that I showed you a little bit earlier, is also linked in the document itself. We've already identified point people, which is wonderful, and we have some suggestions of where to start, how to start collecting your data, some of the things you want to start thinking about, and then we're going to be starting the onboarding process officially very, very soon, if not already. And then we are currently down here where it says attend the Chapter OS NationBuilder website, data training and agenda. It's set for today. So we are sort of in this little area right here. This is yours to look at. We've developed it as a way for you guys to keep track of where we are in the process, some useful documents, and also there's a checklist on the side over here that we added just as a way for you guys to mark it when it's completed, just to see, you know, keep track of where you guys are in the process. If you wanted to assign specific people to that, you can. If you wanted to use this document, you can. You're not forced to, but it may be very useful for you. If you are going to use it, you need to make a copy of it, and then you'll be able to edit it and make it your own. So this is the master document. To make a copy, if you don't know how to do that, you go up to File, Make a Copy, and you get to rename it for whatever you want it to be for your chapter. You can share it with your board members, and that way you won't be editing the master document. So this is yours. Use it. There's a lot of really useful information in there. When we get down to the lower part of it, we're going to be talking about collecting and cleaning your data. Jeff did a great job of talking about that and sharing some cool documents with you. We're going to be setting up your bank account information. We're going to be talking about tags, which is just another way to organize the people within your nation, your website. And then the final checking, which is the most exciting part of the process. Once everything is done and checked, we're going to be celebrating with you. We're going to be popping some champagne, and you guys are going to be kind of let go to go out into the world and be successful. So, you know, again, this is something we created for you. Jeff and I are very excited to be a part of the process with you. If you have any questions, please reach out. We have access to some pretty useful information too. I also want to point out that, here we go. So I also want to point out that you guys will always have access to NationBuilder's support. It is a knowledge-based searchable forum, and Google also exists. You know, please research on your own. Jeff and I will be here to help you along the way. It's a very fun process. And I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And with that, I believe we're complete with the entire agenda. So I do see a question. Someone left. So the question is, are we? So the data policies that are linked in the affiliation agreement. The question is, are those going to be changing with the changes to the affiliation agreement? Jamie, would you like to take this question?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we also had this come up in the comments here as well. Oops, sorry, I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Hopefully you guys can hear me. The answer is that the data policies are not likely to change. There hasn't been any feedback on any of the issues in the data policy, and most of the things in the data policy are technical. So, for example, like this is how this works in NationBuilder, this is how we protect your data. I would say there are some policies that are in the data policy around how we contact members. And those are laid out pretty clearly, and we'll be talking a little bit more about those both in the as we talk more about affiliation. So I would say that the technical aspects of the data policy are not likely to change, and we actually don't anticipate any other changes to the data policies as well. So those are sections of the affiliation agreement that are most likely not going to change as part of the revisions that we're doing right now.
I always forget to unmute myself. Okay, thank you, Jamie. We're officially done. So next trainings that are going to be coming up, we're going to be talking a little bit more about cleaning your data specifically and how to import that. We're also going to be talking about organizing your data and using your data and searching for members within your database, tags, lists, all these other beautiful topics. And we're going to be emailing you dates and trainings about those items later on. So I think we're done.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. It was wonderful to have you. All right, we'll be speaking soon.
Look forward to working with you guys.
Bye, guys. Thank you.